I got back out there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Consequences? I got trampled by a herd of buffalo. Yeah! 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 I was like you. Look at me. I shouldn't even be here.
Before Prospero's cell, enter Prospero in his magic robes and Ariel.
Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I'd say so when first I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them. All prisoners, sir, in the lion grove which weather fends yourself. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours all abide free, distracted, and the remainder mourning over them in a brimful of sorrow and dismay. And chiefly the one that you termed, sir, as the good old Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works on them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, if I were a human.
And mine shall. As thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, then shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish all as sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs am I struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend, not a frown further. Go release the menial, my charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ariel exits.
Yells of hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves, and he that on the sands with printless foot to chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. Ye demi puppets that by moonshine the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, have bedimmed the moontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. The dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, hoped and led them forth by my so potent art. but this rough magic I here observe. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work my end upon their senses, that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff and bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book.
Re-enter Ariel before, then Alonso with a frantic gesture, attended by Gonzalo, Sebastian and Antonio in like manner, attended by Adrian and Francesco. They all enter the circle which Prospero had made, and there stand charmed, which Prospero observing, speaks.
Solemn air and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy, cure thy brain. Now useless words within thy skull. There stand, for you are spell stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, my eyes, even sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowy drops. The charm to resolve space as the morning seals upon the night, melting the darkness till the rising senses begin to chase the fumes that mantle. O good Gonzalo, my true preserver and a loyal sir, to him thou followest. I will pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a further in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, you brother mine, entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, and whom with Sebastian would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. The understanding begins to swell. The approaching tide will surely fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me. Ariel, fetch my hat and rapier in the cell. I will discase me and myself present, as I was sometime Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Ariel sings and helps to attire him.
Whether be success or car.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee. But yet thou shalt have freed me. So. The king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners under the hatches, the master and the boatswain being awake. Enforce them to this place, and presently I bring thee.
I bring the air before me and return, or ere twice pulse beat.
Ariel exits.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wrong Duke of Milan, Prospero. And for more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest here or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me as there have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind immense, with which I fear a madness help me. This must brave, and if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign and do entreat. Thou pardon me my wrongs, but how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or not be, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of iron that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all.
Prospero speaks aside to Sebastian and Antonio.
But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I could pluck the highness's frown upon you and just spy you traitors. At this time, though, I will tell him things.
Sebastian speaks aside to himself.
The devil speaks in him.
No, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive. Thy rank is fault, all of thee, and to require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must sustain.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore, where I've lost. How sharp this point of remembrance is. Oh, my dear son Ferdinand.
I'm woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says that it is past cure.
I ought to think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace, for the like loss I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You the like loss.
As great to me as late, and supportable to make the dear loss. Have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter? Oh heavens! I wish that they were both living in Naples, the king and the queen. They were, I wish. Myself were murdered in that oozy bed where my son lies. But how did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest, I perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their senses and scarce think. Their eyes do offices of truth, their words are natural breath. But howsoever you have been justed from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who, most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked, was landed to be the lord on it. No more yet of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not a relation for breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This sells my court. Here have I few attendants and subjects none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will breakfast you with as good a thing, at least bring forth a wonder to content ye, as much as me, my dukedom.
Here Prospero discovers Ferdinand and Miranda playing at chess.
Sweet Lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall at twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of glad Father compass thee about. Arise and say, how camest thou hither?
Oh wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh brave new world that has such people in it.
It is new to thee.
Who is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your else acquaintance cannot be more than 3 hours. Is she the goddess who had served us and brought us together?
So she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she is mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I've heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I've received a second life, and second father, this lady makes him to me.
I am hers, but oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child for forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrance with the heaviness that's gone.
I've indeed wept. Or should have spoken ill about this. Look down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither.
I say, Amen Gonzalo!
Was Milan thrust from Milan, that's his issue, should become king of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy, and set it down on lasting pillars of gold. In one voyage did Claribel find her husband at Tunis, her brother Ferdinand, a wife where he himself was lost, and Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle where all of us ourselves was lost.
Give me your hands, and let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart, that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so, amen. Oh, look, sir, here is more of us. I prophesied if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Now blasphemy that swears grace overboard. Hast thou no mouse by land? What is the news?
Best news is that we have safely found the king and our company. The next our ship, which was 3 classes since, is tight and here and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how you came hither?
If I did think, sir, we were well awake, I would strive to tell you we were dead or asleep, and how we know not, or clapped under hatches, where but even now, with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible. We were awake, straight away, at liberty, where we, in all her trim, freshly beheld our royal good and gallant ship, our master, captain to tries her. So please you, we were divided from them, and were brought mopping hither.
Was it well done, sir?
Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free.
This is as strange maze as ever men trod, and in this business, more than nature was ever conduct of, some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At big leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable, of every these happen accidents. Till then, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit, set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Come, Caliban, Trinculo, Stefano.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Couragio, bully monster, couragio.
If these be true spies which I wear in me head, here's a goodly sight.
Oh, Sir Boss, these brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is, but I am afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio? When money buy them?
Very like one of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, then say if they be true. This mischievous knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, and make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he is a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. Two of these fellows you must know I know. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where had you wine?
And Trinculo is really right. Where should they find this brand liquor that had gilded them? And how camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last, that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'll be king of the Isles, Sirrah.
I should have been a sore one then.
And this is a strange thing that I ever looked on.
He is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to my cell, take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Ay, that I will, and I will wise hereafter, and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this devil.
Go to, away.
Or stole it rather.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as I not doubt shall make it go quick away. The story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle, and in the morn I'll bring you to your ship and so to Naples, where I have hope to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the air strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sails so expeditious that shall catch a royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Please you draw near. Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now it's true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver dwell, in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults, mercy itself, and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.